It's the truth between the beef between Steve Nash and Jason Richardson. NBA beef is fantastic. No. No more squeaky chair either. Yep. We WD-40 this mug, so squeakiness is gone. So I don't know what we're gonna do. But let's get into it. Now Steve Nash is MVP 2 times in the league, the hottest player in the NBA. He gets married, had twins. His wife is she's from Parkway, over in the area where like Brazil is, and everything is fine, Barbosa joined the team. He's from Brazil, and his wife is like an actress in Brazil, Brazilian actress, and they got kids, and everything is going good. Her career is going fine, and Barbosa and her, they all speak that Portuguese, so they're able to communicate, and talk and stuff like that. So he hangs out with the wife a lot, and his wife and their wife, and everything is golden, no problems. And then 2009 hits. And so just a lot of arguing going on with the wife and Steve, and it's just been a lot of fights, a lot of problems. Bill Cartwright was like on the team then, and Bill's trying to, he's old school, and he's like, it's a whole different mentality as far as how players were, let's say, fraternizing with people's wives. So they was telling Steve, you're a former MVP of the league. This guy's over here fraternizing with your wife a lot. Like, this should be going down. So Dan Marley told him too, like, look, you need to keep your affairs in line, because this is not good for the team if you're mentally not, there. And Barbosa got hurt, for a while during that season. He missed a lot of games, and he was spending a lot of time with Nash's wife. And Steve Nash assumed that, because I think Barbosa's wife was pregnant at the time, I believe. I think she was pregnant at that time with one of their childs, and Steve Nash was like thinking that, wait a minute, he's screwing, my wife. Allegedly, let's put that on there. Allegedly, this is what was happening, and Steve Nash, this was like his closest buddy, and he was ready to fight Barbosa, who was basically injured at the time. So what they did was, after the season was over, they moved Barbosa to another team, just traded him, because Nash was so livid, and he was blaming the wife on every single account that was going on. And she sweared up and down she did nothing. She didn't have anything to do. Like, Barbosa and her were cool. They were just friends. But what he didn't know was in 2008, she had a thing for another player on the team named Jason Richardson. Now, this was back in 2008. And Nash didn't know anything about it, because of the simple fact that when they first got him, he was coming off an injury, so he didn't get to play every game. But he was hurt. So when that thing happened that way, problems ensued. later on, because after I think the '09, '10 season, they had a great run and everything, and during that break, he was like traded to did he go to he went to Toronto, I think. I'm guessing. And he went and played the one season in Toronto. Then Phoenix brought him back to the team when things kind of like cooled down and everything. And Barbosa pleaded to to Steve Nash, like, I did not do these things. I would not do that. Like, you're my friend, you're friends with my wife. I wouldn't do that to you. We're friends. So Barbosa always stated to Steve Nash, like, we are friends. I wouldn't do that to you. Even when he was gone, he still reached out to say, hey, dude, we are friends. I don't know what you guys are going through, but now he's got suspicions about Richardson. And they thought things would cool down once he was traded for that one season. Now that he came back, for this season, halfway through the season, everything blows up. And Jason Richardson played high school ball because he's from Saginaw, Michigan, with my cousin. They was actually the backcourt in high school. My cousin ran the point. He was the two. And my cousin went on to become an engineer, and then a correspondent for the Detroit Pistons. And Jason Richardson went on to Michigan State and then went on to the NBA. And he called and was like, I fucked up. He's like, what? He's like, I fucked up. It's like, what you do? Hey, I just fucked up. And that was basically all he could say. Because he knew why he had to be traded. Mid-season, when they sent him on to Orlando, because he was like, as every time they came into town, they would kick it. He would bring tickets, like, hey, come to the game. I got you. He was just like, I'm in Orlando right now, but I fucked up. And he didn't know what was going to happen next with his career, but he knew he couldn't go back to Phoenix for nothing. That was done. So he's like, right now he's in Orlando, but his agent was telling him things weren't looking good because there's certain teams that don't want to pick him up because they frown on that type of situation. So he couldn't go to Dallas. San Antonio didn't want him. None of these teams would touch him. So he knew there was a major problem. Now Nash, his wife was pregnant when he found out all this stuff was going down. And she told him, they got into a big fight about it, and he asked her, and she told him that it was a possibility that the baby could be Jason Richardson. And he just lost it. So through the whole pregnancy, like 8 months waiting on her to deliver, to find out what was going on once she had the baby and everything, he was just, I'm filing for divorce. Even though, they had to do the blood test, and thank God the baby came out being his, it's just a situation where everybody dodged the bullet for humiliation, and he's got to pay all this child support. But he's still happy because he always wanted a boy, and he got a boy, so it's just a bad situation. But this happens a lot in the NBA. More than any other sport, the NBA is next to Major League Baseball for sleeping with people's wives and girlfriends. NBA. I don't know what turns these women on, seeing guys fly around ducking in shorts, I guess. And Major League Baseball. These women are something else. And these players are something else. Because back in the days, you didn't do stuff like this. Because you could be shot. You could be stabbed. I mean, we know plenty of stories of players pulling out pistols on people. They didn't play about that. And other teammates didn't play like, hey, man, messing with somebody's wife? That was back when people used to say something about that. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but that was just a bad situation. And let it be known that Barbosa and Nash, like, he finally believed Barbosa or just said forget it, you know. And now that he's divorced, his wife tried to take him to the cleaners, you know, and now he's with another young chick, you know. He loved that some dark meat, you know. So did his wife. You know, she was getting too close to LeBron James and rubbing up on him in front of his wife. You know, Nash and her had words about that. It's a lot of stuff that went on. A lot of people didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, and it probably hindered the Phoenix Suns from ever advancing because they did underachieve. They'll be like one of the best teams in the regular season. In the playoffs come, they just explode. So when the team ain't gelling on the court no more because of crazy stuff like this, now you see why. And that's from Jay Rich, you know. All this is really alleged, you know, so nothing's on record. You know, everybody in the parties know what it is, so they don't have any like friendship or relationship whatsoever. For Barbosa and Nash are back working together now that Nash is in Golden State as like player development, and they brought him in, and you know, him and Barbosa's over there going over old times. And I believe Barbosa, you know, I believe his story. You know, so even though he divorced his wife too in 2013, but who knows? Your boy Carcino, I'm out.